Welcome to Tort Talk. We have a packed episode today. I'm joined by the one and only Joe Fantini. Jon is still out of action on paternity leave, but that is not slowing us down. We've got a lot to cover. A $60 million NEC verdict just got overturned on appeal. J&J is pushing for a motion to dismiss on the Talcum Powder MDL, and the AFFF litigation is finally moving again after going quiet. Across the pond, the UK just banned social media for anyone under 16. You know, a lot to dive in here, Joe. Welcome back. Thanks for joining us.
Thanks for having me, Mark. A lot to talk about this week. Some big developments and some huge cases we've been following for a long time.
If your law firm's marketing is not helping drive signed cases, what exactly is it doing? At RR Digital, we build for the outcome that actually matters. SEO that gets you found, paid ads that bring in qualified leads, and social media that builds trust even before the first call is even made. RR Digital was built to help law firms grow, and signed cases is the metric that we care about. Ready for more cases? Let's talk. More information at rrdigitalmedia.com. Back to the pod. Let's hop into it. We've been talking about NEC a lot recently, but a $60 million verdict just got overturned. Pretty disappointing development out of Illinois, where the appellate court struck down the $60 million verdict. What did the court find on appeal there, Joe?
Yeah, so this is a verdict that came down in 2024, a really tragic case involving the death of a baby who used the milk at issue here, and the jury returned that verdict, $60 million, and we finally heard from the appellate court, and basically they found that the trial court erred in two instances. The judge gave an improper jury instruction on the warning and the requirements related to prove the failure to warn claim, and then also didn't properly handle prejudicial evidence related to the net worth and the compensation for some of the defendant's executives. So this case is going to need to get retried. Very disappointing setback from everybody. We were hoping for a positive outcome. If you remember back in May, we talked about a $495 million verdict that got upheld on appeal, so we were pretty optimistic. A big setback for everybody, especially for that very deserving family. We have a couple trials coming up this summer in the MDL, but this litigation's proved to be very, very difficult, setback after setback, but we'll keep moving forward for these very deserving clients.
Yeah, very frustrating to hear. I thought we were gaining a lot of momentum, especially after that last big verdict that just came down and got upheld.
Yeah, that's what we're hoping, but a setback. Hopefully we can get back on track with these trials this summer.
What's the next one this summer?
It's going to be the first one's in August and then in November.
Okay.
We're going to have two in the MDL.
Also, another topic we've been discussing a little bit recently, which we hadn't been discussing for a while, the J&J Talcum Powder. I was surprised to see this news, but J&J seeks dismissal. What are the key developments in this litigation, Joe?
Yeah, so we're seeing J&J a little bit emboldened. We talked recently about that verdict out of California, that defense verdict in the second Bellwether trial here. In the MDL, what's going on is that two of the plaintiff's experts, we withdrew their opinions from the litigations based upon that and the findings in that recent trial. J&J is arguing the cases should be dismissed, the whole entire litigation, because now without these experts, we lack the specific causation. And without that, all of the cases should be dismissed with prejudice, meaning we can't come back and file them at a later date. So I think that's a reach. We'll definitely be opposing this motion. We have other experts that get us over the line there. Science evolves. Experts come in, they come out of the litigation. It's not that uncommon. It certainly doesn't warrant the dismissal of the largest active MDL that's been going on the better part of a decade. So we'll fight this back. It's just another tactic by the defendants, and we'll see where it leads us. But I think we'll end up on the right side of this one.
I sure hope so. That would be absolutely wild if this got dismissed.
Yeah, that would be pretty devastating for sure.
Joe, do you know why those plaintiffs' experts were pulled back by the plaintiffs?
You know, there's different reasons. Sometimes the experts, don't want to continue with the litigation. They get a little bit older. They have other things that pop up. There's other experts that may be better experts for the litigation, relying and more familiar with some of the new evidence that's out there. So it just seems like there's better experts for us to get there. And we didn't need all the experts that we had previously used. It's common. It happens. I'm sure people aren't as familiar with it, but like I said, when a litigation's going on for more than a decade, a lot changes.
Yeah, fair. Most of the experts probably didn't sign up for a decade worth of litigation for one job.
That's for sure.
Coming back into the fold, AFFF. We have seen a flurry of activity in this MDL for the first time in a while. What are the defendants up to, and what can we expect going forward? And is this just AFFF, or is this like PFAS too?
Yeah, it's the AFFF PFAS individual personal injury cases that's going on in the MDL. So you remember last year we had this deadline to do the bulk filing, and what we've seen recently is what I'll call this docket cleanup. So the defendants are filing a number of motions to dismiss, saying the plaintiffs haven't submitted fact sheets, haven't submitted the requisite medical record showing the diagnosis of these top 6 injuries. They're also identifying what they consider the dual rep cases. So they're really trying to identify the number of viable cases that are out there. They're seeking to dismiss about 10,000 cases due to the fact sheets, and there's a couple thousand other dual reps. So we see this a lot of times before a settlement's in place, where the defendants are really trying to get a hold of the inventory. So it's this docket cleanup process we've talked about before. Once this is done, we'll see which plaintiffs want to go forward, which are able to carry the weight, and get a better feel for how many total cases there are and what the injuries are, hopefully leading to settlement. So not a terrible thing. I'm of the opinion if it's been a year and you couldn't get the fact sheet done, exceptional circumstances, it makes sense that that case could get dismissed without prejudice to come back if the plaintiff wants to. So it's interesting that we're seeing this development now. That leads me to believe that hopefully this year we can get a resolution.
Yeah, I was about to ask. So we're seeing this as potentially a positive sign.
Yeah, positive sign certainly lets us know that the defendants are spending time on the cases. They're going over the inventory. They're trying to identify which of these cases are compensable. So not a bad thing. A little bit surprising the motion came down, but everybody should be working on those responses now, and we'll see how many cases end up, holding the deck.
I'm very interested to see if some of this action in AFFF moves it back into the top 10 in the power rankings, because it has not been on there, I don't think, ever. And for those who did not watch last week's power rankings or last month's power rankings, editors, put the link here for Joe's top 10 picks in the power rankings from an active mass tort perspective. But we'll see how this develops over the rest of the year. See if it breaks in the top 10 with the settlement potentially looming.
Yeah, well, we'll see. I'm not sure if it's going to reappear there. Well, we'll talk about it. We have the Lone Pine order in place, so it's a little bit more challenging litigation. Certainly cases out there, but I don't think we'll see thousands of more cases filed.
And then moving on, this isn't an MDL, but some very important news. The UK just announced swiping changes that bans all children under the age of 16 from using social media. What's going on there, and do you think this wide sweeping ban is going to come to the U.S. sometime soon? We see states doing it individually, but not at the nationwide level yet.
Yeah, so this, new ban, it's going to go into effect next year in 2027. I think it's a good thing. You probably think it's a good thing as well. We think there definitely should be some sort of restrictions. I'm sure you're seeing, television commercials pop up now about the, limited use of Instagram and the parental controls that are in place and the certain contact and the amount of hours children are being limited to. It seems that these social media giants are trying to get ahead of it and trying to implement these changes and safeguards, none of which they would have done without any of these lawsuits in order to prevent a ban from coming down. So I don't think we'll see a nationwide ban. I think we could see it in certain states, and I think maybe 16 is a little bit too old. Maybe we'll look at it down to 12. So there's a growing list of countries that have done this that we've talked about, right? Australia, Spain, the UK. So we're going to continue to see more countries do this. And that just shows how important these lawsuits are, because if it wasn't for the lawsuits, there wouldn't be attention to these issues. And I can guarantee you they'd make no changes at all.
A lot of the momentum is swinging against the social media companies right now, whether it's the trial we won earlier this year, the laws changing and across the world, individual states, and there's even another movie coming out about the whistleblower and Facebook, which I do not think paints them in a very good light from a public perception perspective.
Yeah, so, this goes to what we talk about, that multi-prong approach, right? We need the pressure points from the MDL, the state courts, the legislator, the AG, other countries. We need that pressure from everybody to bring about change. So this is a good thing. We'll keep everybody posted if we see any developments, something like this happening here in the U.S.
Awesome. Thank you, Joe. That's it for our rundown today. Don't forget to like and subscribe so you do not miss any future episodes. Comment below if you have any questions for us, and we monitor those and make sure we respond to them. Joe, the great Fantini, thank you very much, and I will see you again next week.